Alright, so I just wanted to run through materials really quickly here. Definitely to assemble these frames, you're going to need two different drills. It's going to save you a lot of time. One of them, I have a countersinking bit on for number 6 screws. Got my number 6 screws right here. Any kind of wood glue, I really like Gorilla Glue, and then another screwdriver or another drill to use as a screwdriver. I've got my wood set out for each panel. You're going to need 3 23-inch long pieces, 4 corner pieces. Doesn't really matter how big they are as long as those angles are exactly 90 degrees. And then 2 of the 48-inch long pieces. Here's one put together with that insulation already in it, and a stack of more panels. And then this is the insulation I'm using, is that Safe and Sound insulation, which was a special order from Lowe's. It's $50 for 8 of them, and they're 3 inches with the same properties as the Owens Corning 703s. The nice thing about this is it's not fiberglass; it's made out of stone, so you actually don't need all the protective equipment that you need for fiberglass. And the other added benefit of that is that you don't have to fabric over the back of your panel as well. So I just wanted to show another jig that I made for putting the wire on these guys for hanging them. As you can see here, this is the backs of all these panels here, just a stack of panels, and I've put eye hooks in the sides, each side, 1/4-inch rubber feet on the bottom to keep them a little bit away from the wall. And then this is the jig I was talking about, and it just fits around the outside of that frame, slides right over, fits pretty tight on it. And then I put a little screw in the bottom so that as I thread that wire from one side over that screw to the other side, I know that I've got them all hanging at the same height because I've got 10 of these guys that I want to hang all on the same height. And here's a finished one so that you can see that wire stretched through there should all be at the same height. Alright, so I just wanted to make a quick video to address wrapping the muslin around the frames here. I didn't really I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because I'm basically just making this up as I go along anyway, but it's better than nothing. So here's the toughest part is doing a corner. And here I've got a corner folded under, no staples on the outside or anything. The way I did it is I started with this top row right here, and stretched everything around that, and then flipped it over, did the bottom side, and you do have to stretch it with a little bit of tension to be able to make it so you have a nice flat surface on the other side. Then you do one side and then the other. And as far as doing the corners, I've left one corner undone here so that I can show you how at least I'm doing it. So the way that I've been doing it is pulling it over and then just stretching it back, and since I'm only using one hand right now, I'm getting some wrinkles in there still, but I'm not going to staple it right now anyway. You basically just have to kind of tuck everything under there. So again, when it's free and clear here, pulling it back over, folding it down. It's really a two-person job, so you kind of have someone hold that spot there, and then you can tuck this side under the same way you did the other side, and then just staple along that corner. And since that's on the back corner anyway, it'll look just fine. And here's a bunch of finished ones. Nice tight corners once they're stapled. Alright, and I just wanted to do one little wrap up here just to catch anything that I might have forgotten in the rest of the video. So I have a frame here that I didn't use, just ended up being an extra frame, but I just wanted to show you the construction here, go over some of the measurements. All these pieces are cut at 3.5 inches wide. I mentioned that really quickly earlier, but I wanted to let you know 3.5 inches wide because the insulation I chose is 3 inches deep. so when I put these corner pieces on here, it made it 3 inches deep for the pocket in here. So all that insulation, the part I didn't show you was the insulation sitting in here. I put a bunch of spray glue, especially in the top. I used quite a bit of spray glue. Put a bunch of spray glue in, all up in the corners and everything, across this piece and across the bottom corners and those pockets on the bottom, just to hold that Roxol insulation, because the downside of using that is it's not quite as stiff as some of the fiberglass boards. Boards kind of being used loosely there, because that still is pretty flexible even when you get that Corning 703. But with a little bit of spray glue, this stuff holds up just fine, holds in that frame. So the top piece was 23 inches wide. These side pieces are 48 inches long. The center piece, of course, is also 23 inches wide. And like I said earlier, just make sure that these corner pieces are exactly 90 degrees when you cut those. And then everything should come together just fine. And that piece, that Roxol insulation piece, which those are 23 inches wide by 47 inches tall. So that should drop right in there. Since we're taking, for each one of these guys, we're taking a ½ inch off the top and bottom. So that 48 inches minus an inch is going to be 47 inches from top to bottom. And again, we're making it 23 inches wide. So 23 by 47 for the insulation piece. Overall, the frame is 24 inches, 2 feet by 48 inches, 4 feet. Thanks for watching the video, and good luck with building these.